All right, it's 7 p.m. Welcome to all of you that is joining me for this live masterclass, Bridging the Gap, how to overcome the three massive mistakes that smart people make, which keeps them frustrated and disconnected from their life purpose. Hi, I'm Conrad Jones, and let's do one or two little housekeeping matters, and we should be able to move along very quickly and easily. So, first of all, I want to thank you for trusting me with your time and your attention, your energy, which I know is valuable. And I promise that is going to be well worth it. What I want you to do is shut off all of the distractions right now. I think that what we're going to share and what we're going to discuss is so important and so vital to moving your life forward. It's taken me 12 years to learn some of the things I'm going to teach you tonight, but it's so vital and important for moving forward that I want you to turn off all of the apps that you have running and all of those things that kind of distract you. What usually happens is the phone rings, the dog barks, whatever, and you end up being pulled away from um, what is being said, as important that is as it is, and you miss that just little piece. And because you miss that little piece, sometimes it's much harder to really connect everything that you probably heard or saw because you miss that little piece. Well, I don't want you to do that. I want to make sure that we move together through it and you get a full understanding of everything that I want to share with you today. Um, Now, since we're going to be spending some time together over the next few minutes, one of the things I thought about is when I listen to other persons or I watch other people, I want to know a little bit more about them so that I have a little better context for who they are and why I should even listen to them. So I want to start here. I want to start here just a short bit with who I am and why you should listen to me. If you give me a minute, I think I can find a presentation that we are looking to work with, and we should be good. All right, so let me start here. Everybody have a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. And our story many times helps to define us a little bit. Sometimes it helps to define us a lot. But let me give you a little bit about who I am and why you should hear my story. Well, I feel very blessed in my life because I'm smack dab in the middle of what I was born to do. I help average people to live an extraordinary life by supporting them on their journey to releasing their full potential so that they can become the best versions of who they are born to be, and they can connect with the best ways to use their life, their unique gifts, and their abilities to do what they were born to do so that they can simply live, laugh, and matter. And one of the great things about this is that I get to work and to be around some of the warmest, passionate, destiny driven people that we refer to as the restless at heart nation. Now, what is different about this particular group of people, and I really enjoy working with them, what's different about them is these people are the type of people who make the right promises to themselves. And the promises that they make to themselves is that they will not settle for less than the best. And after they've made that promise, many times people make promises to themselves, but they never really do anything about it. But the restless at heart nation, when they make that promise to themselves, they move with the courage to fight and to make it happen. And I believe that you are here at this point because you are part of the restless at heart nation. So I think that you're going to fit right in with the restless at heart nation. Now, the thing about it is today, for me, life is wonderful and I feel very fortunate and blessed. However, I want you to understand that it wasn't always that way. You see, a few years ago, I was frustrated and struggling to find a clear sense of direction and purpose for my own life. And in the process of it, I had a experience that brought me a little bit more clarity, believe it or not. And this was shortly after I had a near-death boating experience in which I fell overboard, smack in the middle of strong ocean current. And after fighting for what seemed like hours, I became too tired and started to sink beneath the waves one final time. And as I started to drift into unconsciousness, three questions popped into my head. Believe it or not. Now, that's kind of that's kind of interesting because you would think that, hey, excuse me, you think that, hey, I'm dying here. I probably should be thinking about heaven or the pearly gates or the life hereafter or whatever else. But for me, at that moment, believe it or not, three questions exploded into my head. And here's what they were. The first was, could I have done more with my life? The second question was, could I have been more? And the third question was, could I have experienced more? And at that moment, shock and horror erupted in me, not because I was in the middle of drowning, but it came up because I realized, believe it or not, I had no real answers to those questions that suddenly, for some reason, started haunting me. And what was even worse was I had nothing significant to show for the time that I had already spent on the earth. Well, I somehow knew things couldn't end like this, and I couldn't leave and not experience what I could have done with my life at that moment. And by God's grace, I found some new strength and I began to fight again to get to the surface. And it was at that moment that I felt hands grab me as two guys jumped in to rescue me. And whenever I tell this story, I often pause to say thank you to those guys. I never got their names. I never really got to know who they were. They were visiting from out of town at the time, but they just jumped in, and they were, for me, my good Samaritans that jumped in to help me and to save my life. And so maybe you might be on this call tonight. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me at that difficult point and place that I was at in my life. But the point I'm making is that I was given another chance to demonstrate that I could do more with my life. Now, here's the thing. You don't need a near-death experience to find direction and purpose on your life's path. Many times, all we need is a little bit more clarity for moving forward step by step. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. Now, I want you to know that even after my experience, things didn't suddenly come together and I had a massive breakthrough which ended all of my frustration and struggle. While that would make a great story in a movie, real life often doesn't work that way. It took me over 12 years from that point of my traumatic experience, learning new principles and working to apply them to my life, to get to the place where I began experiencing new results, which made me happier, wiser, and better. So yes, my goal for you today is to shorten your learning curve by passing along principles that have worked for me on my journey to help you to get to the next level of your life faster, easier, and better. But let me say this. I can't give you a magic pill that automatically solves all of your life's problems, because honestly, such things don't exist. Because if they did, you and possibly everyone else around would have already found your magic pill, and we really wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So nonetheless, that's just a quick story, but let's get deeper. Let's look at the three massive mistakes that I've found in working with people over the many number of years, which have kept too many of them frustrated and disconnected from their life purpose. Mistake number three, and you see it on the screen, mistake number three is having a narrow perspective of what life really is. Mistake number three. Now, when I talk about this, one thing particularly comes to mind. This is kind of like the story of the 5 blind men who were trying to describe an elephant based on the part of the elephant their hands were touching. The guy who was holding the tail, he declares that the elephant was a strong, thick rope. The guy who was holding the tusk, he declares that the elephant was a strong, sharp spear. And the guy who is holding the elephant's side declares it is a rough, unfinished wall, etc. And here's the thing. Each of them was right in their limited description. But you see, they struggled to figure out what the elephant really was because their perspective was too narrow. And they needed a bigger picture to really understand what was before them. Now, because most people have a narrow perspective of what life really is, and they don't understand what is called the 4 simple zones of life, they lead unhappy, unfulfilled, and confused lives. And the thing about it is, it never has to be that way. So let's get started with the real perspective you really should have about your life. I want to start here. We all know that our lifetime is the sum or the number of all of our days on this earth, right? And in Psalms 90 and 12, King David, in his poetic writing, said something not only interesting, but something very important. He said this, he said, "So teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts to wisdom." Now, to number your days does not mean we sit and we say, okay, I think I have 40 years left. It doesn't mean that. Why? Simply because none of us really know how long we will live. So what David was encouraging us to do is to recognize that there is a finite number of days that we have on the earth. To give you a deeper understanding of this, I created an acronym for life that should bring more awareness and clarity to where we all are right now and how we should move forward in our lives. Here's what it looks like. The word life has 4 letters, L-I-F-E. And each one of those letters represents something important on our journey from time into eternity. So here is what that is equal to. L is for length of days. I is for investment of resources. F is for focus. And E is for engagement. So from looking at this, we begin to understand that our pilgrimage, our life's journey is connected to 4 simple things. It is connected, first of all, L, to length of days. Now, think about this. Life is usually measured in length of days called a lifetime. And we all have a finite amount of time on this planet. And from the day we are born, the clock was ticking away the years, the minutes, and the seconds that we have left. Now, there is nothing you can do to stop your life's clock, nor to turn back its hands. It keeps advancing forward no matter what we do or what is happening in our lives. And the greatest and the only way to deal with this time system is to manage it wisely, to use it to your advantage every day, and to make each moment of each day count towards moving you in the direction that leads you to experiencing a fulfilling and a rewarding life. The biggest question which none of us can answer about life is simply, how much time do I have left? Now, in applying your heart to wisdom, this means that you can't really afford to waste another day on things that do not help you on your journey. You can't afford to waste time and energy on things such as negativity, jealousy, unforgiveness, and whatever does not serve you in meaningful ways. It is important that you eliminate those things from your life. Remember, you don't know the number of your days, neither can you go back and get more once they're gone. You only have one shot at this life. So you gotta really make it count. The second important thing about life is that you will always have limited resources. And this leads us to the second part of life, the I, which is investment of resources. Every day, we spend our life resources, such as our energy, our time, our money, our gifts, and our abilities in some shape or form. We spend them or trade them or sometimes even give them away. Every day, we are investing those limited life resources into something or someone. The question really should be, where are you putting your energy, your time, your money, and your abilities? And more importantly, are you receiving a healthy return on investment, or is it a dead investment? Each day you should ask yourself, you should say to yourself, rather, I have a limited amount of time, energy, money, abilities. Where should I put my energy today that is going to give me a healthy return on my investment so that I don't misspend the limited resources that I have? So in applying your heart to wisdom, we must take note of the things that we spend our time and energy doing throughout our days. We must look at those things and see if they are moving us closer to our life's goal, closer towards God's destiny for us. And if what we are investing our life resources into is not bringing us closer to the fulfilling life that we're born to live on this planet, then we need to rethink what we are investing in and seek mentorship and guidance regularly for better uses for our time, our energy, our abilities, if we are truly to be satisfied and happy with the lives that we lead. Now, the third important thing to understand about life is that you simply cannot give your full attention to everyone and everything around you. And this leads us to the F of life, which is focus. Focus is simply, what are you paying attention to? Or where is your daily concentration? One of the greatest truths about life is that whatever you focus on most of the time becomes the most significant and the biggest thing in your life. Now, that can work out either positively or negatively in your life, depending on what you spend most of your time focused on. Some people spend more time focusing on fear, defeat, unforgiveness, and failure. So those things become big mountains in their paths. Others focus on the blessings of God upon their lives, or on happiness, on contentment. And contentment doesn't mean that you have everything that you want, but you are still thankful and you have a sense of gratitude for what you do have. One of the most important things about focus is that it is really a choice that is available to everyone. So you can choose what keeps your attention and what you focus on. You can choose whether you allow yourself to be distracted and to get off course while headed towards your goals and dreams. All because focus is a choice. But focus is also a limited resource that you cannot pay attention to everyone or everything all the time. So here's what I want you to focus on. It's imperative that while you're on this journey called life, that you jealously guard your focus, because what you pay attention to most will grow in your life. This means you absolutely must prioritize your focus and concentrate on what is necessary and important at various points during your days, months, and the years of your life. The fourth important thing to understand about life, and I've been listing them first, second, third, and fourth, but the order isn't the important part of it. It is the relevance I'm getting at. So the fourth important thing to understand about life is that being significant comes from doing something rewarding. And this leads us to the E of life, which is engagement. And engagement begs the question. It says, what are you involved in? What causes are you fighting for? And are those things worthy of you spending your life being engaged in them? You see, every single day, there are tons of things which compete for our limited time and attention. And regardless of how passionate we are, we can't engage in everything all the time, all at the same time. So we must wisely choose which things to go after and which things to bypass. And all of this is based on the priorities that we have in our lives. Now, it is great to have good priorities, such as a happy home and family, a good career and money, etc. But the most important life priority we must always keep in our view is this. We should always be asking ourselves this question: am I using my limited time and talent wisely? And am I doing something that truly matters, a difference in this world? Many people struggle and they're frustrated with connecting to their path of purpose simply because they have a narrow perspective of what life really is. But you no longer have that issue because I've just given you a simple but powerful perspective of your journey. So you can now apply wisdom to your everyday life. And this brings us to massive mistake number 2. Massive mistake number 2 is not understanding the pull of destiny. Let me take a sip for a quick minute. Here's how to understand this. Our human family, aka mankind, has always been passionate about progress, about improving things and building things and redesigning things, etc. Man has always been literally obsessed with pushing the boundaries of what is to explore what can be. And there's a simple reason for this. It's because you, me, and the entire human family, we've inherited a special trait from the eternal creator that's called the heart of a creator. And this is the real secret behind how we get so many breakthroughs in art, science, technology, and every other industry known to man year after year. It's because we are born to create. And that's why you search for purpose and meaning on your journey. You search for purpose and meaning on your journey, and you're driven by this because it is an inherent desire to create more in life, to become more than you already are. You see, the heart of a creator beating within you often compels you or pulls you in the direction of doing more in and with your life. It draws you to change the world around you, to bring order to chaos, to introduce productivity where none exists. And because of this, you struggle to find fulfillment in your life, to create something new, to live a different experience, to become more significant in some way. All of this happens because every creator, you, me, and all mankind, we struggle with something that is called the pull of destiny. Now, let's be clear about one simple thing. Your struggle to find fulfillment is not a bad thing. Further to this, you are not alone with that challenge because most people have the same desire to be more, to do more, and to have more in their lives. So why do we have this inherited desire then? It's because God has placed those desires within us so that we will continually strive towards our highest potential and our destiny of significance and excellence. Let me say it again. The reason why you have a pull towards fulfillment in your life and you experience moments of frustration and there seems to be a struggle to go in that direction, yet you can't quit from going in that direction because your heart is driven in the direction for doing, being, and having more in your life, is because God has placed these desires within you so that you will continually strive towards your highest potential and your destiny of significance and excellence. So let's get to the question. What is the pull of destiny? The pull of destiny is that deep longing way down inside your heart that always seems to pull you towards 3 specific desires. The first is achievement. Achievement is the desire to live a life of excellence. Simply that. The second thing you're pulled towards in your life is suitability. Suitability is the desire to find a place you fit in the world. No one wants to be a misfit. And the third is greatness. Greatness is the desire to experience fulfillment by doing something you somehow feel you were born to do. And added to that, the pull of destiny comes connected to its own special resource, which is already hidden within your heart, that is called a destiny photo. Now, here's what a destiny photo is. A destiny photo is your very own uniquely personal snapshot or picture of a special future that God places in your heart, which he wants to pull you towards during your lifetime. This is important. You see, you recognize it because the idea that's in your heart, the real destiny idea in your heart, many times, is usually so much bigger than you are able to accomplish by yourself. And often it is not selfish. It is always about others benefiting rather than just serving you. So the easiest way to recognize the pull of destiny in your life is to know that it is something which will never allow you to really forget that you are called to something bigger, something better, and something more exciting than the life you are currently living. It is something that will always be calling out to you, pulling you in the direction of something outside your comfort zone. Now, and the frustrations in life become even stronger when you try to ignore the pull of destiny, or you do nothing to move in the direction of fulfilling it in your life. And oftentimes, what this does is this leads us to the number one mistake: not connecting with the real questions behind the question of purpose. Now, I know that when you saw this mistake, right, your immediate reaction probably was, say what? The question behind the question, what the heck does that mean? So most people ask the question. Let's break it down. Most people ask the question, how do I find my purpose? And the reason they seem to end up further away and even more confused about purpose is because the answer they get never really move them closer to what they really desire. And what is it that you, if you think about it, what is it that you really desire when you ask the question of purpose? You say, what is my purpose? What is the meaning of life? All of these things surrounding and being connected to our identities. What is it that you're really looking for? You know, the truth of it is, what you're really looking for is, you're looking for, or what you're desiring is just simply clarity. That's it, clarity. And the reason you don't get the answers you're really searching for deep down inside is because we have all been taught to ask or pose the life purpose question from the most common and challenging angle. And what this does is it only raises more questions than answers. So why do we do this then? We do it because most of us have something called the common hammer syndrome. Okay. The common hammer syndrome. Let me explain. Have you ever heard the saying? If all you had in your tool belt was a hammer, everything to you would look like a nail. Okay, let me break this down with a quick case study. First, let me introduce you to Jim. Jim is a middle-aged, 51-year-old married executive banker with a wife named Miriam and two beautiful teenage daughters, Tammy and Susan. But on top of that, there's more to Jim. You see, when Jim gets out of the office and he gets away from the things he studied in school, accounting and all of these things, Jim also believes he's a handyman and that he can fix all of the problems around his house, even though he does not have all the tools or skills to fix things. But you see, there's something interesting about this. Jim has something that's called the Hammer 9000, which he bought off the Home Shopping Network because the salesman said it was something every handyman needed in their garage to fix almost any problem around the house. So now, even though it has a cool name, if you look at it, you can see it's still only a hammer. But Jim believes he can use this hammer to fix everything in his house because it works so well on hammering nails. So last Friday, Jim tried to clear the plumbing under the sink by tapping a little here and knocking a little there. Well, no surprise, that didn't work, but only made the matters worse by cracking pipes. So Jim moved on and he tried to fix the washing machine and the toilet bowl and a number of other things around the house using only his trusty Hammer 9000. But the harder he worked, the more broken things became. And all of this was because there's one small problem. Everything wasn't a nail. So the hammer wasn't the right tool for the jobs. Jim simply needed to change to the right tools and he would have seen better scenario. So what do you think the outcome of this probably was? Well, I'll tell you, disaster, frustration, and plenty of broken things around the house, right? But what was even worse, here's the worst part. The worst part was that Jim started to draw negative conclusions about himself from those poor experiences that he has had with fixing things around his home. Jim began to believe that he was inadequate, unintelligent, worthless, and unable to fix even the simple minor things around his house and to make his wife smile at her handy husband and to make his girls proud of their dad. And I'm sure that you would agree with me that it would be far easier to fix a broken pipe than to fix a broken Jim, right? And this is exactly the place most people who want a deeper connection to their life's purpose often find themselves. They find themselves in a place of disappointment and despair with the journey because they have tried using the common tool, which is their hammer. They've tried using this tool to fix this particular connection in their lives, not realizing that their hammer is only one tool or one approach, and it does not work in all situations. You see, they fail to realize that there are other tools already in their toolbox, more specifically adapted to be used to get the results they are after. So let's talk about the common hammer. Now, if you've been on this life purpose journey for any amount of time, you've probably seen the most common approach for working to connect with purpose, right? And you know, yep, it is those colorless questionnaires, also known as the common hammer. I call it the common hammer, those colorless questionnaires. You've seen the list. You've seen this list of questions over and repeatedly. And it comes up about when you Google or you search for anything having to do with how do I find my purpose in life. And you've probably been told that you could find a connection if you answered these questions in the colorless questionnaire. Here's what they are. What makes you smile? What are your favorite things to do? Or what were your favorite things to do in the past? What about now? What activities make you lose track of time? What makes you feel great about yourself? Who inspires you most? What are you naturally good at? Skills or abilities? Now, the real question is, what is wrong with those questions? And the answer is nothing. If you just wanted to feel great that you completed a questionnaire which has given you answers that lead nowhere. But if you're looking for a way to connect with the real sense of meaning, significance, satisfaction, which allows you to truly be clear about moving your life towards your true sense of purpose and ultimately a fun-filled, happy, adventurous life, you would still be stuck. Why? Because your purpose isn't a nail. So trying to hit it with the common hammer is not going to work. And as you probably have already experienced, this process leaves most people frustrated and annoyed because you end up with a whole lot more questions instead of clear directions. So let's get to the real question behind the question. When you ask this question, how do I find purpose in life? The real question which you want answers to, and answers of clarity, really is this: what is the highest and the best use of my life? My time, my energy, my resources. And how can I leverage all of it wisely to lead a happy, fulfilled, and satisfied life? Now, don't worry about all of what I'm talking about, because you can get the full download with the entire presentation. I'm going to give you that at the end of this presentation. So even if you didn't take any notes, you can get the full PDF with all of the notes and everything in it. So, like I said, when you ask the question, how do I find purpose in life? Behind that question that you want answers of clarity to is really this: what is the highest and best use of my life? What is the highest and best use of my time, my energy, my resources? And also, how can I leverage all of it wisely to lead a happy, fulfilled, and satisfied life? Now, do you see the difference between asking, how do I find purpose in life, as opposed to asking, what is the highest and best use of my life, and how can I leverage it wisely to lead a happy, fulfilled, and satisfied life? That's a big difference, isn't it? You see, the question behind the question is what we all really want to connect to. But most of us have been taught to use the common hammer, which honestly gets us no closer to clarity. So here is something important for you to consider on your journey. Life purpose is really about three simple things concerning you. It is about your plan, it is about your person, and it is about your product. I'll say it again. Life purpose is about three simple things concerning you and your life. It is about your plan, it is about your person, and it is about your product. So let's look at each of them. You see, is about connecting with answers to the question, why am I here? And this is important because it unleashes a deeper sense of meaning in your life. Then your person is about finding answers to the question, who am I inspired to become? And this is important because it unleashes a deeper sense of satisfaction with the life you lead. And then thirdly, your product is about connecting with answers to the question, what am I moved to create? Remember, we spoke about the fact that our pull of destiny has to do with the fact that we are all driven to create more. We are internally, we are creators, and we are driven as creators. And when we don't satisfy that creation urge, or that urge to create new things in our lives, to experience new things, to do new things, then we end up frustrated and we feel stuck. Your product is about connecting with the answers to the question, what am I moved to create? And this is important because it unleashes a deeper sense of significance and fulfillment with what you do. You see, life purpose is about why you are here on this planet, who it is that you are inspired to become, and what it is that you're moved to create. A unique statement of the heart, which serves as a quality reminder of who we are and the impact we naturally create in the world. So, in this little time that we spent together, we talked about how to move past the three massive mistakes which keep most people frustrated and disconnected from their purpose. Mistake number 3 was having a narrow perspective of what life really is. Mistake number 2 was not understanding the pull of destiny. And mistake number 1 was not connecting with the real questions behind the question of purpose. Now that you know exactly how to move past these 3 roadblocks, if you want a copy of the free report, simply private message us on our Purpose Unleashed page on Facebook. Private message us, and with the subject line, give me the 3MM report, and we will send it out to you as soon as we can. I enjoyed our time together. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I thank you for taking this time to spend with me today. And I'm sure that coming up, we're going to have a whole lot more. We're going to have a whole lot more. I want to switch back to the camera a minute. Good. Coming up, we're going to have a whole lot more trainings like this. That some of them will be more in depth. As a matter of fact, while you're here, you can leave some comments below. That would be great. Maybe there's another training in regards to life purpose or self-esteem, self-confidence, those types of things that you want us to give you, to prepare for you, and to present to you. So you can go and you can put in some suggestions with some new topics that you probably would like us to teach on and to train on. I know that usually when there are webinars and things like this, usually there's an offer for some product to buy or something along that line. I'm not going to offer you specifically anything on this particular webcast, but if you leave comments and suggestions, we would be more than happy to find resources or to even create resources that will help you move your life to the next level, move further in your life, to accomplish more, to see more happiness and success in the various areas of your life. This is what we do. Like I said, we work with the restless at heart, people that are primarily people that are not satisfied. They will not settle with where they are, and they are moving with courage to become better, to grow to the other places in their lives, to do more, to have more, to experience more. And since I believe that you're here and you're that type of person, we would love to share more of our other trainings with you. What you can do is visit us, like us on Facebook. You can visit us on YouTube, Purpose Unleashed TV. You can sign up and join our subscribers on YouTube. You can join our fans on Facebook. And while you go to Facebook, purposeunleashed.com actually is, let me see if I can get it right. It's Facebook/Purpose Unleashed. Yes, that's what it is. You can go there, and we have a small store there where there are a number of our other products. Some are free, some are relatively inexpensive. So there's a lot of other resources that you can go ahead and invest in to move your life forward. Also, you can send us emails. We just like having the opportunity to, connect with people and find out how we can help you move to the next level. Maybe there's some questions that you have from the presentation that we did tonight. Maybe there's some questions that you have. You could just feel free to put them in the box below, and we'll respond to them. I'll respond to them personally as quickly as I can. I'm just happy and I'm just excited that you took the opportunity to join us. There's a whole lot more that we have to teach and to share in helping you to move forward in your life. And so thank you very much. This is Conrad L. Jones saying, live your life purposefully, passionately, and uniquely great, even starting right now. And you have the ability to do that. Thank you so much.